Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Right, so we've got Wrathful Proser, we've got CJ, and we've got DFJ. I said I
Hey,
wasn't going to introduce you, but I did.
I'm back again
So,
after the morning stream. One more.
Oh crap! I
Last
gotta mute my thing.
so I'm coming to you live from the balcony of a cruise ship on the Mediterranean Sea. There is background noise. I
Sorry about
cannot
that.
help that.
I wish we could all say we were on this cruise ship.
I know. But yeah, there's background noise, and I am sorry for that. And I've got my little one as well. It's nighttime here, so she may be in and out. So if I have to mute, then CJ has promised to rap.
Yes, I will. I'll freestyle.
So we were going to go through some stuff, weren't we?
Yes, it's been an exciting docket, I feel like, this week.
Oh my god,
It's been wild.
that's an understatement.
Oh yeah, didn't the judges had a meltdown today? Let's call it that. Yeah.
Yes, and it's
That's the one thing he says. Hold on a second. You insulted me. Now I got to talk about this.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll go through all of that because that was just a little surprise I wasn't expecting to be talking about in this show, but we'll pull up the letters and just kind of go through that as well. But shall I read my letter first then, because I actually sent that over a week ago and it landed like 8 or 9 days later.
yes,
I was
I'm
like,
looking forward to that.
yeah, I even said like, because I rang them and then they were like, oh, there might have been a problem with it. You might have to send it, or if you can walk in with it. I'm like, walk in with it. I'm in the UK. I'm not even in the UK actually. I'm in where was I? I was in Spain at the time.
Well, grab that captain and tell him to turn that ship right around. Like we're heading to New York.
I said to Lara, oh, Lara, quick, can you post it? If I send you money, can you post it? Print it and post it for me. So yeah, she did that. That's how we finally got it all sorted out in the end. So thank you to Lara, who is as usual a rock star. So let's have a look at this letter. It would help if I actually shared the screen, wouldn't it? I was about to start reading.
I'm still getting used to sharing the screen on that first transition.
I know.
And then I keep not putting stuff on the stage because I'll put the image and I'll forget to take the image down.
I'm watching on my TV. Thank God, because I can't see anything on my phone.
I'm just getting used to it. Like it's more than you think, isn't it? It's like trying to have a conversation with multiple people, but also look at what you're reading from, and also look at the chats as well and see if there's any questions or, So it's like, I'm trying to. Where do I go first? So I'm still finding my feet.
Yeah, it's actually convenient to have it like if you have a TV, and then you pull up the comments, so at least you can sort of kind of see it, because I can't like balance like my phone and my computer. So this is perfect. You just put it on the TV in the back like a movie.
Brilliant. So in addition, I just want to say as well, in addition to Lara and Christina, we've also got Millennial Mum as well, who's joining as an apprentice moderator. Bless her. So great team tonight to take care of me, take care of everyone else and each other. So love it. Right. So my letter. So this is obviously my motion to quash. It was denied, and we were, there was 5 of us. There was obviously Lauren, Cassidy, Ashley, and Ken's, and we were all kind of annoyed with the judge, and we were more annoyed that Lively's team had kind of just withdrawn it on a Saturday, and we were denied the response to it. It was just like, yeah, okay, whatever she said, she can have it, and really annoyed me, annoyed everyone actually. So we all filed a letter because the facts were misrepresented. You know, it was purported that we had meet and confers and all this stuff, you know,
And that they got what they wanted when
they got what they wanted. Yeah, all this stuff that just was not true. And we were like, no. I'm not, you know, we're not having this. So we wanted to get, we know that we're not going to get what we want from it, but we want it at least written and on record that we don't agree with what was said. So this is my letter. I think we've all heard, again, sorry about the background noise. I think we've all heard Lauren's and Ashley's, and mine starts with, Dear Judge Lyman, I'm writing to formally address the pending motion to quash filed on the 21st of July 2025. So I've attached the entire motion to quash as an Exhibit A because I wanted it to be in front of him. As of today, I'm aware that counsel for Miss Lively have withdrawn the subpoena served on X-Corp to obtain my data and have written to the court to notify them and request that the motion be denied as moot. I wish to formally object to Miss Lively's attempt to render the motion as moot. As Your Honour is aware, my motion to quash Miss Lively's improper subpoena to X-Corp for my personal information also included a request for a protective order to prevent Miss Lively from making any further attempts to harass me in this manner, mere months after proclaiming to continue standing up for any third party who is unjustly harassed. And then we got a footnote there, right? And the footnote is a link to a news article where Blake Lively is quoted as saying, we supported the efforts of Taylor's team to quash these inappropriate subpoenas directed to her counsel, and we will continue to stand up for any third party who is unjustly harassed or threatened in the process. And I obviously put that link in there just to show the irony of what she's doing to people like me. It also requested sanctions for filing a subpoena without any basis or offer of proof for doing so. Miss Lively served these subpoenas and is now attempting to walk it back by withdrawing them as if they never happened. That cannot be allowed to happen. The unwarranted backlash I received from this because of Miss Lively's actions, along with the stress and time consumed in being forced to address this issue, which has effectively wasted both my time and the court's time. This is sanctionable behaviour. And we did get backlash, just to clarify. Like, initially it was, you're on a tag list. And then when that list was unsealed, it was, when, like, especially when Ezra Hudson's letter come through saying she had what she wanted, it was, so you did give up information, you lied. We all got that. It wasn't true. There have been several events in recent weeks where Miss Lively appears to have weaponized subpoenas to either harass and intimidate her critics or manipulate the PR narrative. On the 1st of July 2025, TMZ published a story that Miss Lively had issued subpoenas for Andy Signor, Candace Owens, and Mario Lavandiera, aka Perez Hilton. I hope I got his name right there.
Every time I see his name, I hear it like in his voice. Mario Lavandera Jr. You know how he always says it?
He's like also known as P to the E to the R.
If the story was published before the story was published before any of the people ever received their notice of said subpoenas. And as the second footnote, Candace Owens, her quote, given the fact that I have not received any subpoena yet, I appreciate Blake's team leaking this to TMZ to alert me to it. Around the 9th of July 2025, it became apparent that Miss Lively had issued subpoenas dated the 3rd of July 2025 to Google for the data of 16 content creators. On the 18th of July 2025, Miss Lively filed a motion seeking to compel Tag PR to de-designate Confidential and AEO to their second supplemental responses and objections to her first set of interrogatories. In that motion, Miss Lively stated, and this is a quote from her now. For example, if Miss Lively issues subpoenas related to individuals identified in tags interrogatory responses to marshal evidence about their involvement in the smear campaign, she will be hindered in her ability to meet and confer or respond to questions and will be unable to explain to such subpoenaed parties that the discovery directed towards them is based in part on the fact that based in part on the fact that TAG identified them. Not long after that, content creators affected by the Google and X Corp subpoenas were subjected to harassment and false information that they were on a list provided by TAG and accused of lying about their lack of involvement. This persisted until the interrogatory responses and objections were unsealed on the 22nd of July 2025, proving that I certainly was not on any list provided by TAG. When I filed my motion, I emailed a copy to Miss Hudson. I received an email later that day to accept service and offer to discuss my motion. I was offered a Zoom meeting or to correspond via email. A Zoom meeting was arranged for Friday, 25th of July at 9 a.m. That's Pacific time. However, my disabled daughter was unwell and admitted to hospital as a result, and I had to cancel a few hours beforehand. I'll look at the exhibits at the end, I think. I suggested that the attorneys could use their now free time to respond to the two simple questions I had in writing. One, what was the basis for these subpoenas to Google, X, and TikTok? And two, what are the reasons my name is on them? I never received a response to my questions, and the next communication I received was to notify me that the subpoena had been withdrawn with no explanation for the sudden change of direction. The letter to deny the motion as moot, filed by Miss Hudson, soon followed, and I was deeply concerned to see yet more misrepresentation, in addition to what I had already highlighted in my motion. Miss Hudson's letter refers specifically to 5 content creators, including myself. She suggests that her office has met and conferred with me. However, this did not happen as I had to cancel and my email with questions remains unanswered. In the middle of her letter, I found this weird, right? Just to clarify, in the whole letter from Ezra Hudson, at the start, there was some talk about we're withdrawing because we've met and conferred. At the end, it was we're withdrawing because we've met and conferred and we've got the information we want. But somewhere in the middle, right, there is this quote or like it was like an image of an email or a text from Melissa Nathan, and this whole spiel about, well, everyone's making fun of Blake Lively for using the term untraceable. And it's like, okay. So I thought, I'll read this because I wasn't sure, is she addressing that to us? Because the letter was about the 5 of us. So is she addressing that to us or someone else? It just seemed an odd thing.
I think that was so strange how she included that, I thought, in that filing, and now every single withdrawal, she just adds it on to that one letter. So that was going to be the big one. And I think they were just trying to pretend like that's some sort of basis, because in the very end of that text, it says untraceable or something. But it's from August 8th. It's from before any of you guys even talked about this case.
I know. It's big. The thing is, right, I'll tell you what I wrote because I thought, in the middle of her letter regarding us content creators and the motions to quash we filed, Miss Hudson clarifies who coined the term untraceable digital campaign, right? It is not clear whether her comments are directed at us, but as one of the content creators the letter is referring to, I'm happy to, probably too happy actually, to respond to help clear up any confusion. Whilst I appreciate that the term was coined by Melissa Nathan in one of the messages obtained by the Van Zandt sham subpoena, this fact had long been forgotten due to Miss Lively referencing the term on a loop in nearly every filing on every docket related to this action across multiple jurisdictions. Speaking for myself, I simply assumed that Miss Lively had taken authorship of the term. I thank counsel for affirming its true origins. And you know, right, in one of the recent letters from one of the recent responses from Judge Lyman, I think it might have been to the Kevin Fritz one, to Blake Lively's motion to strike, where he's inviting Kevin Fritz to respond. I think he makes reference to, well, Blake Lively has alleged an untraceable smear campaign. It's like even the judge at this point thinks that she's taken authorship of that word. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that was my favorite line that you had in this letter was that the authorship paragraph.
Oh, I couldn't not. But yeah, no, it's just ridiculous. Like, I don't know, I'm sure at the start, yeah, it was mentioned that it was, it was in a text somewhere buried in, one of the stolen text messages. But that's long been forgotten because, like the Steve Sorewitz line, she puts it in every single letter and filing. So she's the one she's now used it far more than Melissa Nathan. Anyway, so I took the opportunity to have a bit of snark.
And
Miss
plus,
Lively,
because it was so out of place, it was kind of like putting them on notice. Like, okay, why'd you put that in there? Or like the judge on notice.
I know. I bet that went right over the judge's head because he won't know what that means. Like, what the dig is with the authorship thing. But yeah,
I don't think he knows a lot about certain things, to be honest.
No, I don't either. So Miss Lively concludes her response to the motions to quash by making a misleading statement claiming to have met and conferred with me. The email in Exhibit B shows that was arranged but cancelled due to an emergency, but the alternative communication method, which was previously offered to me, was ignored and no attempt was made to offer an alternative time. Miss Hudson does not state that meet and confer was attempted. She states that it took place as a fact. Meet and confers took place with other content creators who were not referenced in her letter, a detail Miss Hudson has neglected to make clear. Miss Lively also states in her letter, based on the third party's representations made in meet and confers, public statements and/or information provided in their moving papers, there is no further information required from the subpoenas as to these specific third parties at this time. Miss Lively has therefore withdrawn the subpoenas as to them. This statement gives the false impression that the subpoena for my data was withdrawn because I and the other content creators gave Miss Lively information. I certainly did not, as there was nothing to give. The voluntary contact I made to Wayfarer Council was my own choice, without prompt, request, payment or incentive, and received no response. Therefore, it does not come close to being described as a smear campaign. The insertion of "at this time" suggests that the door is being left open to attempt this again in future through an alternative.
I think that was a very important point you made because the at this time is just a very typical thing for them to do.
No, exactly.
Shady.
And I'm all too aware of what they're doing, and you'll see because I do actually say I did email to clarify that, and you'll see their response now. But so the insertion of "at this time" suggests that the door is being left open to attempt this again in future through an alternative account or myself personally, and this is exactly what I sought a protective order to avoid. He emailed to clarify and was advised the subpoena has been withdrawn in its entirety as to your account. Confirmed that we do not intend to renew this subpoena as to your account. The wording is vague and offers no assurances that I will not be dragged through this farce again in the future. The fact that Miss Lively served a multitude of subpoenas, again a little snark, that appeared to be procedurally flawed, hinted at bad faith. She has now withdrawn the ones that have been challenged with no explanation or apology. She has not attempted to explain to me or the court why she embarked upon this disastrous course of action, and she cannot, because it is inexplicable. There was no basis other than to annoy, harass, and inconvenience predominantly female content creators who do not rush to adulate her. So then I also put another footnote there, and that was a link to a Daily Mail article titled "Blake Lively Branded a Toxic Diva as Experts Dissect Her Latest Catastrophic Legal Move Against Justin Baldoni." All this action has done is expose the basis for Miss Lively's decision to serve subpoenas on content creators selected at random. I wanted to put the word "her ego" here, but I thought that might be cutting it a bit. Do you know what I mean? It might that risk getting stricken then for name calling, etc. So I used the term "amour propre," which is French for ego.
Nice.
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah, me too.
I'm writing that down.
It sounds cute. It's not. There is an abundance of case law which confirm that improper and bad faith subpoenas issued under Federal Rules of Civil Procedure 45. So then I put a link to a case, Reyes versus City of New York. So yeah, which the rule in there basically said subpoenas issued for the purpose of intimidation or harassment or that seek irrelevant information are an abuse of process. Clearly, subpoenas are being issued with no genuine purpose than to serve as a PR prop and claim a false narrative that I gave information and was part of a smear campaign. I've already referred to 3 subpoenas where notice was provided by a TMZ leak, and the entire contents of Van Zandt ended up in the New York Times. I am not here to be used as a PR spin to cure Miss Lively's disastrous image woes. I respectfully request the following relief from the court, knowing full well I'm not going to get it, but 1, enter a protective order barring a reissue of any subpoena for my data on any platform to anonymous or non-party individuals without court leave. 2, award punitive damages as a sanction for abuse of process. And 3, grant any other relief the court deems just and proper. So we go to Exhibit A. I'll have to just scroll past all this, but this is obviously my motion to quash, and I went too far. Yeah, so this is Exhibit B. I'm trying cancelling. Hi, Serene. Unfortunately, I've had a family emergency come up and I won't be able to attend our meeting today. My only questions are, what is the basis for these subpoenas to Google, X, and TikTok? And what are the reasons my name is on there? I would want those questions answered in writing anyway, so if you could answer them with the time you now have free due to my having to cancel the meeting, that would be most appreciated. I also do say I am happy to consider responding to questions you wish to ask that I consider to be non-intrusive. And I did not get a response to that ever. The next thing I had was withdrawn. This
That's
was
what bugged me the most about them is like they were not like very responsive to emails.
no,
No.
I think they were slightly more responsive to me than they were like to Lauren. She was trying to arrange a meet for about a week, and then she never did actually arrange it because she was like, well, what about Monday? But they withdrew it on the Saturday. So she never did get a date in. The other thing I will say though about the emails, if I go back up here a minute, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. All of them, bar one, are partners, the most senior lawyer, level a lawyer can get. The other one then is an associate, which is, it's like, someone who's been working as a lawyer for a while but isn't a partner yet. So they're all there's 4 of them all copied into this email. 4 of them were on the invite to the Zoom call, and it's like just me. It was a huge imbalance in the power dynamic. So this is Exhibit C, and this is basically an attachment I received when they emailed me to confirm that they'd withdrawn the subpoena. This is a copy of what they sent to X to formally request that they're withdrawing the request for my data. She does actually put a footnote there to say, look, I inadvertently identified the account as Kiara Jade 200 instead of 2010.
I'm sure that was an accident.
Yeah, but so I mean that confirms that yes, it definitely was me. The typo, it was a typo, but that's a letter withdrawing, and this is me. So I've gone to them and said, can you confirm what you mean by at this time? Are you leaving the door open? Are you going to attempt this again? And this is quite literally the response I got is, the subpoena has been withdrawn in its entirety as to your account. Confirmed that we do not intend to renew this subpoena as to your account. So again, it doesn't confirm that they're not going to try something again. And I am quite keen to see, like if there's a new batch of subpoenas going around with this guy from Argentina. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought there would be like a second wave of subpoenas. I think that's why they gave we don't have all the names, or even they don't seem to have a list. I think they're just picking random accounts that maybe a search says that they talk about her a lot. It seems like it's just at complete random.
Hey, Just Ricardo, thank you for the $2.
And I was going to say today was. Oh, go ahead.
No, go on. I was just saying hi to Just Ricardo.
Hi, Just Ricardo. Sorry, no, I was just going to say, today was the first time we learned of the first name of these new 60 content creator subpoenas, and it's a little bit scary because we're on August 8th now, and that was only one of 60. I haven't heard anything from anyone else in that group.
No, exactly. And he's in Argentina, isn't he? I think I've read it.
Yeah, he's in Argentina. He's
I think so.
In Argentina,
like
really big.
Yeah, that's one of the things that really is just sticking out to me. Is here are all these people we're subpoenaing. Okay, how come this didn't go out all at once? And are the new subpoenas, do they say new dates on them? Or I just find it's.
They would have to have
his video had more info, when he got it and what it exactly. But it seems like it's the same stuff. What he did say was it was like the IP address, the physical address, and all that stuff. So it seems like it's similar to the ones that y'all received, except it was in Spanish. Because the only part that was in there was like on the thumbnail, you could see it in Spanish. It was soliciting productions of whatever, and you couldn't see the number. It just said number, and then he had a little arrow, so you couldn't see the number of productions. Like if there was more than, if he was part of the 60, which number he was.
Chris, can I just clarify? Is this another content creator, or is this what's the name of the CJ? What's the name of the one?
His name is Juanito Say, and that's another thing.
Yeah.
I think he was part of a Twitter or X whatever subpoena, because in the thumbnail it says the name of the user Juanito Say, and he's only Juanito Say on X. On his YouTube channel, it's Declarajo TV, and so I think
so he's part of the X group.
I think so.
Oh, you should hit me up then. But yeah, Chris, can you clarify? Is this someone else again, or is this the same person? I'm so confused with all these subpoenas like coming out of everywhere. Like, are they the international ones now? Is she going to try me and Ashley again? Because you know, you've got
You get a
Canada and
Harry
UK.
Potter owl on your boat with clutching a new subpoena.
Yeah, probably not. Nothing would surprise me anymore. It really wouldn't.
Seriously,
In fact,
carrier
I expect
pigeons.
that level of.
Chris is saying that it's another one. So I'm asking him what's the name of the TV station. So he's saying it's an actual TV station that got subpoenaed.
Wow, that's nuts.
Oh, wow.
And it's a Latin one as well. So they're going after the Latin
and
content
like,
creators.
if you look at the comments, like, I don't know, y'all think like the celebrity gossip world in the US is, because I grew up with the Spanish celebrity gossip world, and it's 10 times crazier than it is in the US, and they go super hard with news like that. Like, I don't know, if you look at the comments on the YouTubers, the guy that got subpoenaed, and then there was another channel that covered it, and everyone's like, you don't mess with us, like the Latino community's coming after you. It's crazy, the comments.
Wow. So yeah, so the other news we got, again, apologies for any background noise. I can't help it. I'm on a cruise ship, so sorry, not sorry. But it's the quietest part of the boat, put it that way. So we've obviously had Perez filing some stuff as well, with his specific Perez Hilton brand. I admire him, I do. I've said openly it's not how I would file something. I'm not beyond putting snark into a letter that goes onto a court docket, as I just did. But like, obviously, as professionally, I know that there's etiquette that should be followed. However, he's pro se. It's his right to kind of to file things using in the format he wants to, basically. But today we did see the judge get annoyed, and did threaten him with contempt of court if he continues, and that's a big deal.
So how would that work for him with like Las Vegas or wherever he is in Nevada?
He's filing these in New York, so it would be in New York.
So it would be in New York. So how would that work to hold him in contempt?
The judge would just find him in contempt, that he has that powers. Because he's the warning's there now. Before, like, the judge hadn't. You've got to give someone a warning, but now the warning's there. So if he files something with like that resembles what he's been filing, the judge can exercise his powers to hold him in contempt. To give an example, I don't know what it would be in New York, but without looking up, but like in the UK, if you're found in contempt of court, there's either an unlimited fine or 2 years in prison, or both. Up to 2 years in prison, not like it's not set.
What are you in for? I insulted Blake Lively.
Well, he also called the judge sexy.
I also called the judge a clown.
Hey, Omar.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and Perez said yesterday, he's like, if I get a warning, I'll tone it down. And so I think he kind of anticipated that this would be coming. And the only thing is, he did file another letter yesterday, which hasn't hit the docket yet. So it is going to probably hit after, it will hit after this letter came out, but it was filed before, or after this order came out, but it was filed before.
Oh, we miss you too, Omar. We'll have to hit
Omar.
My favorite.
I want to get invited back on to talk to him on his show. I love talking to Omar so much.
I love how he says evidence laundering was one of my favorite coined terms from him. And now I always use it when I talk about Van Sham. I'm like, it's evidence laundering.
Yeah. Oh no, he's
That's a
got
good one
some.
too. I'm writing down all the
Yeah.
terms.
I miss him and Lauren back and forth because they were like my sitcom every night. I would laugh until my ribs hurt. Sometimes I'd be like, I can't watch anymore. My ribs are hurting because they are just the most like funnest duo when they get together.
I completely agree. Perez did just say out loud what many people are feeling. That's I admire him and I'll defend his right to say it as well. But the judge is annoyed. I think we can all agree that the judge is not happy. And going forward, he should now. He's said his piece. He does need to take this seriously because it's a serious. It's a formal process. Um, and he's got to kind of step up his arguments because Blake Lively's lawyers firstly they're going to try and transfer the subpoena from Nevada to New York to come under Lyman, which given what Perez Hilton has said about Judge Lyman, is not going to be a good thing, I don't think. But I mean, she successfully did that with the Friedman subpoena. She got it transferred from California. And in my thread about this, I was trying to kind of say to Perez, this is what you need to focus on. You need to make this argument to, because Friedman firm did not make the argument for why the subpoena shouldn't be transferred from California. They didn't spend enough time on it. So that's why it was successfully transferred. Perez is going to have to do something, he's going to have to make the argument, basically, as to why it should stay in Nevada. So that's one bit of, not advice, but it's like if someone said to me, Leanne, what would you do if Blake Lively tried to transfer the subpoena she served on you out of one state into Judge Lyman's docket? I would be putting all my resources into arguing why it should stay where I filed it, why I filed the motion to quash.
Well, speaking of, do you want to read the latest order that just dropped? It's about him responding to, let me see. It's for Perez, and it's about responding, I think, to the motion to compel.
I was surprised that she was trying to compel him in New York when he's got an outstanding motion to quash in Nevada.
Yeah.
Like, that's just wild. Is this just dropped now?
Yes.
Okay, bear with me. I need to find it because I haven't seen some of the latest ones.
Well, and I was going to also say, like, with Candace, it looks like her update yesterday was basically, it sounded like they're not pushing her hard. I know with the content creator ones, it was kind of easier they would just withdraw like as soon as anyone fought back. But like the TMZ 3 which is like her, Perez, and Andy, I think they're trying to like put these off as long as possible. Like with what else? Oh, she said that she was going to file a motion to quash all, it in its entirety. I'm saying that wrong. In its entirety, and her lawyers told her, please wait, because we're waiting for like a ruling on getting the same information from the Wayfarer parties and their counsel. And it's like, okay, didn't they already rule on that?
I don't know. I can't remember because, like, I am behind on some of these, right? Because I'm trying to catch up really quickly and keep up with everything, but there's a lot I haven't read.
Well, they're not getting anything from Friedman's firm, like, so that's out. So it would just be from Wayfarer parties, and this late in the game, it's like, I think they're just stalling with her. That's what I think, and I think hers is going to go away. And so, and I think Perez's has a good chance of going away as well. I don't know how Andy's is doing out in Florida, but yeah, it's just this whole thing is insane to me.
have not read Andy's yet. I need to read it. I need to like spend time catching up with it. I feel really guilty actually because I would normally be threading up everyone's stuff, but it's been so crazy, and the subpoenas like just took me completely off doing the content creation and reporting on them because I was helping doing stuff, and then I got my own in the middle of all of that, and then like when we did the motions to quash, that wasn't the end of it. We were talking about it, getting the responses, looking at the responses, and we were like, right, okay, we need to do a letter. We need to file something to lodge our objections to some of the things that have been said, which are not true. So then we did all that, and like then now I'm on holiday technically. The holiday was booked over a year ago. I didn't even know I was going to be doing all of this, but like we still have a bar complaint to do. We have, we've still got stuff to go on, and I'm trying to catch up with, and there's like 3 or 4 filings dropping a day, and I'm still trying to come back into this. Like my feet hit the ground running, and it's just absolutely insane. But I have to find time to go through everyone's, like the other content creators' motions outside of the ones that I was like part of. So I haven't read Andy's. I haven't fully read Perez's yet. I've read his like letters, but I haven't read the full motions yet. That are on other dockets, and I do need to make time for that. But I've got the new order up in front, so I could share screen actually.
And maybe that was by design, by subpoenaing you guys. Like you said, you didn't get a chance to cover as much as you had been because you were dealing with her literally pulling you and dragging you into her dumpster fire, federal.
Oh yeah, no, people could not make content, really. Couldn't do what we normally would do. There was a lot of time and effort spent on it. And then by the end of the whole process, we were all exhausted. It was like mentally, it was so taxing to go through it all. Even for me. And I've got far more experience with dealing with these kind of filings, but it's like it was something I just didn't need in my life, But so I got the judge's order here. So, pro se non-party, Perez Hilton has filed a motion for protective order. Plaintiff Blake Lively has filed a cross motion to compel. Lively argues, amongst other things, that by filing a motion for a protective order in this court, Perez Hilton has subjected himself to this court's jurisdiction for purposes of the motion to compel. See, someone asked me about that. I didn't actually agree with that myself. That's just me. I could see how it could be taken that way because Lively filed for Rule 202, which is it's quite an invasive type of deposition in Texas, and she tried to serve that on Jed Wallace. And I think, because I said this on your show, didn't I, CJ? I separated that though because as part of getting,
last week, yeah,
you did.
That would be the case because I saw, and I've seen other cases too of jurisdiction where if they like file something or like do an answer, it'll say, "Oh, now you've availed yourself to the jurisdiction," even though they're not part of it.
And I can see that, but the reason I felt it was different in this case, in Perez's case to Jed Wallace's case, is Lively had to swear. She had to do a sworn declaration to say that she intended to litigate in a Texas court, like to do the discovery. So it was like a pre. I'm sorry, I'm trying to think of the word now. It was like pre-discovery, basically. And as part of it, Lively had to swear a declaration saying, I intend to litigate in a Texas court. And then she filed it in New York, and now she's arguing about Jed Wallace and saying, well, Jed Wallace is saying,
Wait, can I talk to him? No. Wait, can I please talk? My son wants to talk to everybody. No. Oh, we're talking about something. Talking about Black Lively. All right, here, go put these in the freezer.
They were in the drawer. Hello,
So,
everyone.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Second offspring.
So Jed Wallace is a different case because Lively had made that declaration, and Jed Wallace is leaning into that, saying, well, hold on a minute. She signed this to say that she would come to a Texas court. So, but Blake Lively is fighting against that. And I think her case is not very good in that situation. However, Perez Hilton has not filed anything of that kind. And it made sense to file a protective order to say, please stop her doing this again, because to file that in New York to Judge Lyman, because the Nevada court is only dealing with the motion to quash. He's not dealing with anything else, and he's not overseeing the case. So it made no sense to ask the Nevada judge, to me, to kind of step in and say what Lively can and can't do, in terms of discovery for a case that's in New York. It did make sense. The only thing I would have done differently to what Perez Hilton has done is I would have waited to file the protective order until after the motion to quash was settled. Because you want the subpoena gone, and then at that point you want to say, right, judge, now we've dealt with that and it's no longer an issue, can you please put something in place that stops her from doing it again? That's the thing I would have done differently to him. But I personally didn't think that it availed him myself, because I think New York was the right place to file for a protective order. And there was, like I say, there was no declaration as there was in the Texas court with Jed Wallace. So basically, the court is saying, look, to Perez, you've got to respond to Lively's cross motion within 7 days, or by the 13th of August. So he's got to respond to it. He's got to oppose the cross motion and make this kind of, an argument for why he shouldn't be compelled. And just saying, well, it's in Nevada isn't going to be enough. He is going to have to kind of say a bit more than that. The court is aware that Perez Hilton has filed a motion to quash in the United States District Court for the District of Nevada, and he has taken the position that he will not otherwise respond to Lively's cross motion in this court. However, Lively also has a right to have her cross motion decided. Accordingly, in the absence of a response by Hilton to the cross motion on or before the 13th of August, or to such extended date that the court might grant Hilton if he files a motion for an extension on or before the August the 12th, the court will consider Lively's cross motion to be fully submitted and will decide it without the benefit of an opposition brief. So the judge is saying, look, I know you say you're not going to respond to this, but she has a right to file a motion and have it heard, and you can choose to respond and submit your argument, or you can ignore it and I will make a decision without your opposition. That's what he's basically saying. So it's up to
He's
Perez
like between a rock and a hard place, because, well, I'm like, spoiler alert, I'll let you read the next paragraph, because I'm like, wow, I can't believe he said this. So basically he's screwed.
Yeah.
Read the next paragraph because it gets spicier.
No, I will.
And I also love that he's like, yes, the court is aware that he filed his motion to quash in Nevada, because every single filing, Perez is like, as the court, and there's Perez right here, sending love. We're sending you love and support too.
Hi, Perez.
Hey, Perez.
I was just saying, like, in every filing he makes, he's like, as the court, and how like the basement manager Lively is aware, I filed my motion to quash in Nevada and not this court. And so
so given Lavandiera's pro se status, did I say that okay, CJ?
Yeah.
Thank you. And the special solicitude that status is owed, the court advises Lavandiera that should he fail to respond to Lively's cross motion, and should the court determine that it has jurisdiction to compel, Lavandiera risks waiving any arguments that Lively's motion is improper. This means that if this means that if Lavandiera fails to respond, he runs the risk of waiving arguments regarding the subpoena, even if he has separately filed those arguments in his motion to quash in the District of Nevada. So, yeah, he's got to respond and make the argument, basically. Huh?
He's like forcing him. It's like, you got to do it, because then he waives the arguments for the subpoena in Vegas. So either way, like, he's going to have to answer it, because you don't want to waive your argument.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair to the judge, if Lively has filed a motion to compel in his court, it has to go through the whole, it has to be fully briefed. It's not that the judge is kind of forcing this on him. It's Lively is forcing this on him, because Lively is the one that has filed her motion to compel. And it would be for Perez to say, make the argument more succinctly than just one line, that, well, this isn't proper. She is fully aware that I have filed a motion to quash in another court. She says in her filing that she intends to request it be transferred. So she should wait and hear the outcome of that decision before filing a motion to compel. I'm giving you some arguments here, Perez. I hope you're listening.
Yeah, and also, he did say that he could do an extension, so maybe do an extension while you figure it out. You need to hit up our Leanne, Perez.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, absolutely, you can.
Or Candace, because Candace gave you a shout out, Perez. I don't know if you heard it yesterday, but she gave you a shout out because in Lively's, I guess, whatever last filing it was, how she, or the one, I think it was this one, where she put every single name that she's been called in the filing, and Ku Klux Khaleesi got one of the headlines for it. So basically everything he's been saying about her has been getting the headlines.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and so she's like, I thought I had some of the best headlines with all my legal battles, and she's like, but Perez takes the cake, and so she gave you a shout out, and I would definitely hit her up as well.
I love that all of these names are now in these legal filings. They're forever.
Yeah. I'm just going to quickly shout out to MJ Advincula Perez. I hope I am not butchering that, but thank you so much for the super chat. I can honestly believe that the 400 million lawsuit of Justin is in Mr. Lyman's pockets. Do you know? Yeah, we're all starting to think that way too. But yeah. So I mean, Perez needs to take two things away today, and I say this with a lot of love. Is he has got to get a bit more serious now. I would, if the judge is saying, if you keep filing stuff with this language on my docket, I'm going to hold you in contempt of court. Take that seriously. It's a big deal, and it's not worth it for the snark. Also, spend time doing a good response, good opposition to her cross motion to compel, and make the arguments that you have filed in Nevada a motion to quash. She has acknowledged that. There is a footnote in her motion to compel where she expressly states that she is going to seek to have it transferred. And I think it would be a strong argument to say she should await that outcome before pursuing a motion to compel in this court. Because it feels like she's trying to game the system a little bit. She should just...
Oh, yeah. She knew about the Nevada one. Mm-hmm. Someone in the comments said, I don't think he has to. I would file an expedited motion to be heard in District Court of Nevada. So, to get a motion to rush the hearing, I guess, in Nevada. And then they said they're going to call a few attorneys that they know. So maybe he'll get some help.
It is complicated, though, because Lively also asked for attorney's fees in that filing, right?
Someone catch me up on that, because I haven't read that one. Why is she asking him to pay her attorney's fees?
I think it's just because, sanctions for him or whatever. I think it has to do with that, because he filed, I don't know, something against her. I'm not quite sure exactly how it was worded, but yeah, it was the last paragraph of the of the filing.
Yeah, it sounds like it's out of retaliation, to be honest, which we all know is her thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know why she would be seeking attorney's fees from someone from a third party that she is subpoenaing. That's wild. Like, I don't understand the logic for that, unless she thinks that, you know, he's dodged the subpoena, and, you know, she has to incur extra costs in getting him served.
Omar
But
says it
again-
was a threat and nothing more. I agree.
Oh,
Yep.
oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
agree. She's trying to shame him. Like, look, now you're going to say these things about me. Now I'm going to, like, rub your nose in it. And now you're going to have to pay money for me. It's just sounds like she
Yeah.
wants to teach people a lesson. She's a
Thank
bully.
you. She is. She absolutely is. And we were myself and it was Ludwig actually. We were kind of saying, you know, just suggesting some responses to Perez, because obviously she did that that filing. Was it the motion to compel? I think it was, where she listed all these nicknames he had for her, and I was like, Perez, but she, you know, like the blackface one, you know, she literally played a character on an SNL skit, and Ludwig pulled up a screenshot of her doing the skit on SNL, where I don't know if someone said the character's name was Blackface Betty. I don't know if that's true.
It was an interview too. Before that, she did an interview where she said that that's what her and her friends like to do for fun when they were flirting with a guy, and they would stalk him and not want him to know, so they would paint their face like bronze or black and put a wig on, like an afro wig on. So it was like she was laughing about it and admitting it, and he actually made a video about that like a while ago. So
I would put that in any legal findings on the footnotes so that they can see that it's a nickname, but there's something behind that nickname, and oh, look what it is. It's her doing this. It's not just making up a nickname to be nasty. It has something to do in reality that this person is doing.
Oh, well, absolutely. And we were sending all these suggestions. You can, you know, saying to him, well, you know, you know, this isn't just like an opinion, like, you know, this is, you know, actually what she's said herself she's done. So
yeah,
you know, you're every right to kind of say, well, it's a, you know, I base my opinion on her based on what she has herself said. And by the way, here's all the links, you know.
Well, his ruling today, where he told everyone to knock it off, and you know, he basically said what people say outside of the court, like, is their opinion, and I don't know. It just seems so like contradictory to like what is actually happening in the courtroom.
And what happens when this thing goes to trial? She's going to say, "Oh, but this has been in the news for a year or so, or 2 years, whatever." And all these people look at this smear campaign, and they're prejudiced against me. Like I'm waiting for that one. That she's gonna try and do this no matter what. Like, look at me, feel bad.
And this is the image we sent to Perez. Like, just add that as an exhibit. Add that as an exhibit, and along with the video of her, you know, admitting that she, you know, puts bronzer and wigs on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and the antebellum obsession. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can say, like, no, I formed a reasonable judgment. I'm not making fun of her. She admitted to doing this. I mean, and the Khaleesi one, you know, like, Judge, I refer you to the ridiculous text that is already in one of your filings. You know,
exactly.
And he should be kind of sorted. I don't know. She clearly does not like people making fun of her. She does not like people making fun of her. And did you see as well? She's been like Ezra Hudson's become she's got a thing now for footnotes, because she also snuck in footnotes about, you know, stuff about how the subpoena she served on us lot, the X, the Google, and the TikTok, were not improper or harassing. Like, woman, I beg to differ.
What?
I really do. And I got one. You harassed me.
They're sending subpoenas to people who have nothing to do with this. And
Exactly.
like Ken's, she had one subscriber when this all started. What does she have to do with it? What, like, they're just, I don't know if she's expecting a smaller creator to feel threatened and be like, oh yeah, somebody did give me stuff. Like, is she expecting that? Because it's not going to happen, because it never happens, and she knows it never happened unless she's really that delusional that she's living in this like reality.
It's just wild as well for someone to sit there and go, no. Like, she called Wayfarer's subpoena to Taylor Swift's lawyer, and Taylor Swift, who was around, by her own words, was there with her through every step of the whole filming, marketing, and everything. Taylor Swift, whose song was in the film, right? And that was an abusive and harassing subpoena. Then she whips them out to, a bunch of people, including myself, and she's like, oh, no, it's nothing. No.
Yeah.
And
that's to her friend.
Content. Yeah. We weren't able to do content. We weren't able to, like, we were working around the clock. If I got 3 hours a night sleep during those 2 weeks of writing motions to quash, that is all I was getting. My family didn't see me. I was absolutely exhausted, and kind of resentful as well, because I wrote my motion to quash from my experience as someone who had been through domestic abuse. So I had to go through all of that again, and had to kind of rethink from that perspective. Like Cassidy, she said it openly on her channel, so I can say it. Like, she's had to go back to therapy. Ashley's not even covering the case anymore. And
well, that just
and it hit Lauren hard as well. Like, Lauren's got a hell of a thick skin, and like, this was hard on everyone. And even with with my own background in law, nothing prepared me for this.
It's like, again, how tone deaf she's been about this whole movie. It's like she, apparently never read the book. I mean, and she was in the movie and somehow doesn't seem to grasp that it was about domestic violence. So a lot of DV survivors, were like, this book resonated with them, and so they were drawn to this movie. So a large audience and a large amount of people covering the case, just happen to be DV survivors, and like, that's who she's going to go after to subpoena.
Yeah,
it's Leslie G. Y'all remember her from TikTok? She only had one.
I haven't seen file the motion to quash.
She's the she put up pictures of like bruises and stuff that she had, and she was like, I'm a survivor of DV, and I was only talking about, and there was only one video that she had on her TikTok where she was like, it was Justin Baldoni, what he said about the movie, and then it was what Blake Lively had said about the movie, and that's all she did, was just like compare those two, like, look how they're talking about the movie.
Yeah, like that's the thing. I want to know how they're picking people. Like, the larger creators, I understand, but who, like, is she hiring people to just like scan her name and be like, okay, well, this person said your name amount of times, whatever. I mean, I don't understand her strategy.
Well, and also,
or lack of.
With Leanne, like, you guys did such amazing work. I don't think they expected or anticipated how incredibly intelligent and all of you are, because you basically showed up her own legal team, and they, on the weekend, that's how good you guys did that. On the weekend, Ezra was, filed her motion to like withdraw you guys from the subpoena. Like, they didn't even want this to be dealing with this on Monday. They did it over the weekend. So I just hope you realize how good you all did. And you showed them all up, which is just so funny to me, this whole thing.
We were proud of what we did. It's it's like I was saying to Wrathful before we went live, it is a moment in history. Like, how many times in my life am I going to get subpoenaed by Hollywood movie stars? And I was proud of what I wrote. It was some of my best work, and because I did it full chested. Now, would I normally have represented myself? No. But, there's always the logic of, surgeon doesn't perform their own surgery. But I wasn't going to pay someone for this. I wasn't going to incur those costs because I knew I wasn't going to get them back. Like some people, Without a Crystal Ball posted her invoice. It's like $5,000 for 2 weeks worth of work. I'm not spending that kind of money. I value my data and my privacy, but I'm not paying that kind of money when I could give it a really good go. And clearly what I did worked because they withdrew it. Yeah, I think it was like my filing hit the docket on the Monday. Did it hit the docket? I think on the Wednesday, something like that, Tuesday or Wednesday, and then by Saturday it was withdrawn. No response to oppose my motion, nothing. And it's farcical that people felt the need that they had to get solicitors or barristers or attorneys and stuff, because honestly, the slightest pushback, they just withdrew them anyway. So you didn't need to be paying legal fees. But then that tells me that they weren't in good faith in the first place. Like there was no real genuine desire to pursue them. They just issued them as fishing expeditions to see who's going to oppose it.
Yeah,
or to put fear in you guys.
One of the most hilarious was, Ken's the bedazzled spatula. Her YouTube channel had 1 subscriber. So they cannot tell me that there was any logic to this. I don't care what company they hired or if they did it on their own or what it was, but it makes no sense. She had 1 subscriber. You're going to subpoena her?
Exactly.
I had this like tinfoil hat theory, but I don't know. I'm just going to put it out there. But because, okay, you know how they said that the Wayfarer parties filed the transcript and they shouldn't have because it didn't have anything to do with the letter that they were filing? Like they shouldn't have filed the whole thing. But I'm wondering, like my tinfoil head is thinking like, what if they just purposely did it just to show like how the judge functions, like to show that, eventually it was going to get unsealed, the little part, the sentence or whatever. Because I'm wondering, would that sentence have gotten unsealed if she hadn't tried to unseal it, or would it have gotten unsealed anyways? Because I'm wondering if they just like purposely did it just to show like how the judge works, like.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, anything is possible. It is, because a lot of people say to me, "Oh, what do you think of this? What do you think?" Like, and I say, well, yeah, it is possible without getting into someone's mind to work out what they're thinking. But yeah, I think Wayfarer are kind of seeing that a lot of the rulings are, or the decisions so far that are coming out are kind of going in Blake Lively's favor.
Because I think you said on X with was it Ludwig or something that you guys were like, well, this is kind of a win because the letter still stays on the docket and then we get to see what was in the seal. And so that's what made me think.
And I think what you said is right, CJ, though, because the thing that what Lively said, the part that's like unredacted now, is that she didn't know about any smear campaign until the lawsuit and what Friedman has said since then. So it's like, well, why did you file this lawsuit for the retaliation if you're saying everything happened afterwards?
Exactly. And that goes hand in hand with what Candace says as well. I mean, I haven't seen her show, but I've obviously heard what people have said or written about it. And, like they're not even asking about things that happened during, summer last year when the height of the smear campaign was. They're not asking about anything that happened during the filming or production or marketing. Nothing to do with sexual harassment anymore. I think everyone's forgotten about that. But they wanted her messages from this year.
Yeah, specifically February 2025.
Yeah, and that is wild. Now, the big thing that happened in February 2025 is she obviously had that Scott Swift story, didn't she? And in February 2025, that phone call allegedly happened where, Friedman got the call to say that Lively was tampering with the evidence and had threatened Taylor Swift. So that all happened in February. But that is not the smear campaign or the sexual harassment that she filed for. This is a whole different issue. And so it is bringing to Judge Lyman's attention because he won't be stopping it because he won't be aware of it, you know, so to speak. But someone needs to be kind of directly saying to him, look, she's using this docket to do discovery on things that have nothing to do with these claims.
Yeah.
Because you
Lola
can't
Book
have-
says it'll be Amber Heard 2.0 with the yes. It's
Yeah,
so
I'm just gonna
similar.
read that. Yeah.
Like it's
Thank you so much, Globe Loves Books.
it's so similar, and it's crazy. Someone else just went whoop, too fast. But it's like I don't even know. Like this whole thing, I had said to Leanne before and a few others, like I was a huge Ryan Reynolds fan. I followed him since he was on TV. And my husband and I used to watch like a ton of his movies. And we had a lot of like, relationship little things with that. And after all this started coming out, I banned Ryan Reynolds from like, no one can watch anything. You cannot watch Deadpool, nothing with Ryan Reynolds. And then I just knew his wife as like, okay, I thought she knew fashion, but that's all I knew her was like as Ryan's wife. And I think a huge part of this is also she's like, I'm more than Ryan's wife, but this is not the way to do it.
Well, I was about to put on the change up the other night because I was like, I remember I liked this movie, like something to fall asleep to, like familiar, but I had forgotten Ryan was in it. And then I was like, oh man, and I really liked that movie too.
I know.
And I ended up not watching it, but yeah.
But as an outsider looking at
like that too.
All this, like, every content creator that's filed motion to quash has said, this was like an abusive process. And then we have the judge today admonishing Wayfair saying like they're the ones that are like abusing the docket. And it's just kind of a little bit infuriating because it's like, hello, well, obviously the judge hasn't read all the motions to quash, but there's been, all these follow-up letters asking for protective orders and sanctions. And it's like, what, like, I don't understand why he only thinks Wayfair is the one doing, and I don't even think what they did was abusive, honestly. They put the whole transcript on there because if they didn't, Ezra would say, oh, it was taken out of context. And, because all they do is twist and act shady, in my opinion.
Allegedly,
yes, my opinion. Don't subpoena us. Don't subpoena anybody. Our opinion.
But Omar said that the judge was pissed because it increased the likelihood of a leak. So that makes sense.
Oh yeah, that was the one I saw. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I will weigh in on that. I don't disagree with the judge saying the whole transcript. No, it's too much. It's got to go. It's not. Fritz was right. It's not unusual to use these transcripts as part of motions, but you don't need the whole thing to make one point. So, myself and Ludwig were, and I think DFJ, we were kind of like talking on X, and we were, well, I actually think this turned out to be not a bad thing in the end because so the whole thing goes on the docket, right? And it becomes unsealed or it's leaked somehow to the press. Lively is going to have grounds for complaint somewhere along the way, so on and so forth. And I think the judge is, like, whether people can see it or not, I do think the judge is what looks like she's getting her way a lot, and she is, by the way. I'm not saying she's not. I think the judge is also given her absolutely no room to say, that they've had an unfair trial.
Omar's sending me.
I'm going to quickly read these. MJ Advincula Perez, thank you so much. Lime is a clown and Perez is a self-proclaimed jester. Go Perez. I agree. He absolutely is.
This is what I miss about Omar, and it's like that makes me laugh. Like,
Omar, thank you. Lively's lawyers have the most punchable face, and judge is sitting there with every opportunity to punch, and he just won't do it. It's pissing everyone off. Amen, brother. Completely agree with that.
Don't you feel like they're punching them own selves in the face sometimes, though? Sometimes, like, with their, like, motion to compel for Perez, just putting every single name he's ever called Blake Lively in their filing, I was like, why are you doing this? This is so bad. That was so stupid.
I completely agree. Shanonas, thank you so much. February 12th,
Oh.
2025 was the story Candice got her on her tip line from Ryan's childhood acting teacher. Yes, there's that too, about Ryan Reynolds being a terror,
Yeah, he also set fire to something, and he's like, ha ha, like, what? Yes, arson is so funny. What is your problem, Ryan?
Yeah, that was interesting. So that happened. So you had that on the 12th. You had the Taylor Swift subpoena, Taylor Swift source or someone close to her in her camp. We believe it's her dad making a phone call to Friedman on the 14th then. So there was a lot going on in February, that's for sure. Jane, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm not holding my breath either, but I appreciate the prayers though. Thank you, and the $2. Thank you very much. People are being really lovely today. So yeah, I'm confused as to where this case is going now, because she is not doing discovery on the sexual harassment that I can see at all. The concerted effort seems to be a smear campaign, but not the smear campaign. This is now a different one. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm confused, and someone does need to say to the judge, look, you know, she's abusing this docket because she's doing discovery on things that have no relevance whatsoever to these claims. So, and to be honest, yeah, it could be the Ryan Reynolds childhood teacher story. It could be because I know she did something where she had the source tell her that it was Taylor Swift's dad. The thing is, right, is Lively either wants the Taylor Swift subpoena off the docket, in which she got Brian Friedman's letter struck, but she can't then be like trying to do the discovery to find out who leaked it, because I said it when Friedman's firm got subpoenaed. They wanted the mobile phone records of the attorneys in the law firm. They just wanted phone numbers, no names, phone numbers, dates, time, duration of call. The only reason I could see logically that Lively would need that information is to see who, on the 14th of February, if she recognized the number, was it Scott Swift's number? Was it Travis Kelce's number? You know, she would have been able to look at that and know who that is.
Yesterday on her show, though, she was saying they were asking, Lively, why are you going after me? And they were, what do you want? And they were saying like, they wanted to know if she was getting paid by anyone or given talking points. And she's like, do you know who I am? Like, I've been canceled from, everyone and everywhere because no one can tell me what to do or what to say. And then she's like, and I should sue you, Blake Lively, for suggesting that. And
yes, I saw that.
So funny because it's so true. But it just it's changing the narrative again. It's like, okay, so are you looking for the because I think you're right, Leanne. Like, I think they want to know who actually tipped off Candace to that information, but that's not what they're telling her lawyers.
No, I think that is what the discovery is about now, is, who made that call to Brian Friedman. That's where she seems to be taking her mind. And it's annoying because that has nothing to do with any of this. And she is the one that said, we need to shut this down. You need to strike Brian Friedman's letter. So all it is telling me is that Friedman was telling the truth. If she is that desperate to find out who called Brian Friedman, then there is some truth there. And I believe that anyway, because Friedman filed an affidavit. An affidavit is, a sworn document. It is more it's more compelling than a declaration because it is signed in the presence of a public official. So
Gottlieb responded by saying that conversation did not occur as described. So he didn't say that it didn't happen. So he basically admitted it happened, just not as described.
And I think they did, I think they did get what they wanted. But you see, that's the other thing, right? Is when that Daily Mail, when we got our letter saying, we've withdrawn a subpoena, we got the information we wanted, it took me back to that Daily Mail article where that source from a source close to Wayfarer was quoted as saying, "We've withdrawn the subpoena. We got what we wanted."
Yeah.
That's where my mind went to. Is like, is she playing games here and
So she's like
mocking?
doubling down. She's like doubling down on the retaliation and not so much
Yeah.
on the SH. And so I saw a little nugget today on X where this guy that I think he's a lawyer, but he is basically saying that it doesn't matter because before I always thought that if she had gotten SH or that if she couldn't prove that there was SH, then the retaliation couldn't come into play because
No. If you
No.
file,
I
for it,
learned that today that if just because she filed the CRD, it doesn't have to be proven that it happened or anything. Just because she filed that, she's protected from any retaliation, which is crazy because she knew that since the beginning in some way. Because remember in that 17-point list or whatever that she wrote, like, you can't like make faces at me or whatever. I don't know. I'm just paraphrasing here, but she was basically like, you can't even like make a face at me
You
or
can't have
anything.
any change of mood. Yeah, it's like, if someone you love dies and you're grief stricken, you cannot be, bereaved in my company. It was really weird. Like, you cannot change anything. No sarcasm, no nothing.
Oh yeah, that's the part I was trying to say. The sarcasm, like you can't be sarcastic around me and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering if, and that's what makes me think it's like premeditated. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's so far fetched that it was like that premeditated from way back then. But it makes me think that because she had that in the 17-point list, and then she must have known. I forget which creator said that she learned from Amber Heard's case, and that's why she filed that CRD to be protected.
To me, that CRD I don't think that protects her particularly because it doesn't really talk about sexual harassment. It doesn't say, well, this person did this, they will not do it again. This person did that, they won't be in my presence unaccompanied. That 17-point document does not deal with sexual harassment. It asks for her husband's, co-workers to come over from Deadpool to come and work on this film with her.
Yeah.
And not much more.
Yeah.
And it also takes ownership. It also takes ownership of Isabella Perez nudity rider, which I've already done a thread on. She needed stuff like that to get the PGA.
Yeah.
Because like speaking to someone, an editor, a writer, a composer, and being in control of the script, a nudity rider, etc., that is all stuff that a producer does. And that, when I did a whole thing with the qualifying criteria to get the PGA mark, and that is what that 17-point document actually does. It is, for me, it's the foundations for her getting the PGA. I think she's struck lucky with it, though, that she can also twist it and say, and now it's got a, I'm going to use it for this purpose. But the 17-point document does not actually refer to sexual harassment one bit.
But the CRD does protect her from the retaliation, or like does
Yeah,
make
yeah.
it so that no one can retaliate against her, which I think is just so crazy that we have a law like that. That's like, even if it's not proven true, so even if it's false, and then you go and try and defend yourself, then that can come off as retaliation.
Yeah, it protects her to a point. I mean, she's got to reasonably believe in good faith that she's been sexually harassed. She can't just, say, well, I've been sexually harassed, and then suddenly be entitled to, a load of protections. There has to be a good faith basis, and it also has to meet it has to meet the definition. The actions have to meet the definition of sexual harassment. I'm sorry, but Sage in a set does not.
Yeah, I'm thinking like what her plan was with the sexual harassment, like, and the thing with Taylor, like, did she like tell Taylor this, as like, I'm thinking as like two friends. I mean, Taylor's been going through a lot of stuff with sexual harassment and her stalkers. It is like, is this some part of, oh, me too, I had that too? Yeah. I'm just thinking because she doesn't seem to be very smart. So I'm trying to think of what,
No, I don't think she told her anything because that's why she allegedly told Taylor to delete her text messages last October.
I was thinking that, or she didn't believe her or something, to that extent. But yeah, I don't, if your bestest friend that you drag around everywhere doesn't believe you and is not speaking out for you to protect you. Like if I were Blake and I was really SH and my friend is Taylor Swift and she's not saying anything in the news or like to help protect me or something. I mean, that was like the biggest clue. And I think she's starting to realize that everyone doesn't believe her. And so she's trying to bury the SH claims and try to throw anything at the wall to see if it sticks.
Well, I think the biggest.
Sorry, go on. I was going to say, I'll come to this comment in a minute, actually, because it's going to lead us on quite nicely. But go on.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I think we're just beyond the SH. I mean, they literally have video on set of like the entire interaction there. They have the text. We realize, like, to me, the SH just seems like bogus. And so I think, and the biggest clue is just like the nonsense that we're getting in these filings. Like they have to even twist the quotes to make everything seem worse than they are, or like accuse Friedman of saying that she was the B word when it was really Megyn Kelly. And then they just put like the entire transcript on the, on the docket in their filing asking for sanctions or whatever they were asking for. But I mean, Ezra really gets to me though, because she always twists whatever the quote is. You have to always go back and double check. Sometimes she doesn't even put the right links to the right articles or right part of the YouTube video. Yeah. Like everything is so shady because they don't have anything, in my opinion.
No, they don't. Can I just quickly, Glow Loves Books, thank you again. I think she believes by doing all these subpoenas, she'll get her seat back at Taylor Swift's table on the AA list. Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with that too.
It's definitely part of it.
Yeah, it is. We have Irma Sanchez, but Katie from A Crystal Ball revealed yesterday that the 17-point was a rider on her contract, not allegations of SH. I haven't seen Without a Crystal Ball's video on this. If someone can give me some information on what was said, then we can talk about that. But we've been saying for ages, though, for months, haven't we, that the 17-point document was not allegations of SH. We've been saying that for a long time.
No, and everybody says that because he signed it, he agreed to it. It was like the way that they do it, and I always say like words are spells, right? And especially with lawyers and stuff too. And so it goes back to the Ezra stuff. It's like the way that they word things, and especially in that email, it wasn't it was that Sloan law firm when that was happening with the 17-point list.
Yeah.
And the way they worded it was like, they didn't say, oh, she was SH or whatever. It was just like, she needs these protections to return to work. And it didn't have anything as far as like, what were the protections for, why she felt she needed protection.
No, they were non-specific. They didn't point to any wrongdoing by any one person.
And then it threatened them and said, if you don't agree to this, then there's going to be like a formal complaint filed.
Mm.
And so I don't know if that alluded to like an SH complaint or whatever, but when they try to say like, okay, this stuff doesn't make any sense, like we don't agree to this, and then she emailed back and was like, no, this isn't a negotiation, you sign as is. And so they were put between a rock and a hard place. And the way that they work is that they use like words to, and Ryan Reynolds does it with his marketing too, kind of like brainwash people. Which is a marketing technique or whatever. But like I noticed it after watching Ashley's videos where she's explaining like PR and marketing and all that stuff, like how he does it, where that Brandon Sklenar promo for It Ends With Us, where they had like the sweater. They were like, why is this? I always wonder like, wow, this is so like crazy. But he meant to like scramble our brains and think like, kind of brainwash us into paying attention to it. Like that's what he tried to do with the astronomer ad too, with Gwyneth Paltrow. It's like he tries to like throw whatever to like confuse us and then like to get attention. It's like really weird. And then the lawyers do that too. Like,
Yeah,
It's kind of how like he acts in real life.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just going to shout out my new mod, Millennial Mom. Thank you, sweetie. So that, yeah, there are 600 people watching. Please hit the like button. That would be really great if people could do that.
and I hadn't hit the
content
like
creators
button.
are-
Thank you,
the content creators, yeah, content
I
creators
came
are
right
doing
on. And
Lord's work.
I always forget. That's why I love the mods because they always like remind me, and then I'm like, oh shoot, I gotta go hit the like.
Someone
So the
asked if
content
there was a
creators
document.
are- One,
Oh.
1 second, let me just read these two. The content creators are doing the Lord's work battling these Hollywood birds. 100% agreed. And the mods are going to put in links for Wrathful, for CJ, and for DFJ's channels as well, because they're amazing like that. And I've got one more, sorry. I just need to read this as well. AKA the Cat Lady, thank you so much. If the SH fails, do the retaliation claims fail? Yes, they do, because the retaliation relies on a protected act. And in this situation, this is an employment dispute, and the protected act is the sexual harassment. So smearing someone is not in itself illegal, particularly, but smearing someone because they have spoke out about, sexual harassment that they've experienced in their workplace, that is actionable. And if her SH claims do fall apart, then the retaliation will go too. Which is why I'm surprised she's not investing more time, to be honest, in the SH, because she really needs to. And yes, the CRD, there's an argument to say, well, that protects her. But again, she's still got to go to court and prove it.
Well,
She's
she
still
has
gotta
50,000
make the case.
hours of video to watch, remember?
Well, exactly.
That she edited.
I really wish that they would release the birth scene. That's the one scene, like, where if she's lied about that, because she's made such a big deal of it, if what Wayfarer is saying about her wearing shorts, if what Adam Monshine, who was right there in front of her, says about her wearing shorts and a hospital gown and everything else, if that's all true and that's on video, I'm not even sure why she's continuing this. I'm not.
That's my next thing that I'm looking forward to is
Exactly.
the motion for summary judgment or whatever, to see if that, I mean, maybe, we know the judge is probably not gonna, but I'm looking forward to seeing what they write in that and see. And another thing is, like, once the discovery ends on August 25th, I'm wondering, and I know everyone's like, no, they're going to take it to trial, but I'm wondering if once she sees that she got nothing, if she just is like, okay, let's settle now. So those are like the two things that are like, I'm looking the most forward to. And that's only like 2 weeks away.
I mean, he's Ludwig, but she invited him into a trailer. Yeah, but she did invite him into the trailer.
While she was pumping, no less. Are you going to invite some pervert into your trailer when your chest is out pumping? No.
That's what Candace said. It's like, oh, yeah, the machine's so sexy.
And the one with Jamie Heath as well, like, that was a meeting. It wasn't just him on his own that turned up. They all turned up, including, who was it? It might have been Alex Sachs, the producer. So, like, it wasn't just Jamie Heath turning up to, cop a look. It was quite literally a bunch of people turned up to a scheduled meeting and had offered to come back at another time, and she said no, according to their story. That's going to need witnesses and, evidence and so on and so forth. But for me, if the video footage starts disproving some of her stuff, and it already has with the dancing, then I don't believe anything else. And just the fact that she is still talking about Adam Monshine as if he is not an actor really bugs me, because she now knows at this stage he is definitely an actor.
Yeah. And
I just find it disrespectful to kind of keep referring to him as a friend. I don't like that.
Well, everything, I think, God, I just feel like everything they do is so disrespectful. But even the fact that, again, they have all of Abel's message, all the content from her phone, and they find anything, and they have like, you know, I just think if there was any SH, like they were going to give it in that New York Times article. And what she gave, you know, which I think she thought was her best claim, was that whatever dance scene. And then right away, Friedman drops the receipts and was like, we got audio and let's play that scene for you. And here you go.
Yeah.
You're lying.
I mean, that scene, I don't know how many of you guys have seen it. That scene is, she's talking about Ryan, like what she does with Ryan and what they do. And I think she was trying to kind of use that to start persuading Justin to do certain things. But it was when he was like directing that during that dance scene, and all she's doing is talking about Ryan, you know, the whole time.
And she does mess. I'm just going to shout out Michelle. Thank you. Birth scene posted on Instagram by husband and wife. Yes, well, that was actually the birth video. But yes, I've seen it in full. It is not pornographic. It is completely tasteful, and I can see the rationale behind showing it to someone to try and capture how you want a scene to be set. I thought it was tasteful, but she's ridiculous. And Glow loves books. Thank you again. Her birth scene was tame compared to Jennifer Aniston on Friends. Yeah, yeah, it was. But I don't know. What was that? What were we saying a minute ago?
I don't know, but someone else said that the asked if the subpoenas had been posted anywhere, and only 3 of them had from the 46 people who had been subpoenaed. So there's like 60 more people since then that have been subpoenaed that like we have no idea, except now for this one international person. It's just like she's taking her self-inflicted global or her self-inflicted smear campaign global. I don't understand the logic behind this.
And like I didn't really see a lot of buzz in Spanish TV. Because like my mom, like my aunts and my mom, like really didn't know about it. They're like, who? Blake Lively, who? And I'm like hoping that this like blows up on Spanish media, because I know they reported on it probably like initially, but it hasn't been like with, you know, the you know, US media where it's constant updates.
But
so now she's taking her smear campaign.
There's a Spanish media
herself.
There's a Spanish media that covered Cassidy's subpoena and response to it and calling it like the Costco one. And I just know because they also tagged like my Twitter post in it. So like you can translate the article and read it in English. They did a good job. So I think like maybe some of them are going to start to pick it up, but especially because this guy had like 1.47 million subscribers. And oh my God.
Yeah, I saw that. I think that there's also, because I had mentioned some of this to my mom, like she knows who Ryan Reynolds is. And, you know, when I say Blake Lively, she's like, who? And it's like that mainstream media, as far as I know, like, you know, I guess like, you know, all the old channels like Channel 2, Channel 4, MSNBC, Fox, like Fox is doing some of it, but a lot of those channels are not really covering it. And we are seeing it because we are all like, we're all on YouTube and X, and we're all on these social platforms. But I remember talking to her about it, and she had no idea any of this was happening.
Yeah. I'm just going to say here, Mia Lutz, people are still talking about the sham subpoena. There is still stuff going on in the background with that. We're just not hearing about it because there's nothing being filed since it was a motion to compel, wasn't it? The production of the Lively's Van Zandt's.
Yes.
So, but when they were deposed as well, wasn't she deposed over Van Zandt? During someone mentioned that she was deposed during a deposition. Questions were asked about Van Zandt. So that is definitely
Perez
still going.
mentioned Van Zandt. Perez kept it relevant in his letters.
But I believe that. But people are still talking about it. It's just there's nothing's been filed about it for a while. Sanchez. I'm assuming this is about Without Crystal Balls transcripts for the videos. Yeah, if you can send me that, I'll happily go and have a look at it and see what Katie says about it. But I haven't watched her video, so I might do that actually. I might just watch a video. Michelle, ladies, he does have another lawsuit through MT. Yes, I have seen that. I need to look into these other lawsuits. Oh, yeah, there's a lot going on with
There's so
because I
many
need to look at the
sites.
insurance ones as well. I haven't.
Mhm.
Aside from when it was first filed by the insurance company that they were trying to wriggle out of paying out on the insurance.
Yeah, I think
haven't
Justin is going after them now. They're
Yeah, I hope he does because this has not been decided. They're a bit premature. It is.
And they have
They're saying, oh well, his claims have been dismissed, so therefore, it proves that he did all of these things, and we have all these exemptions as insurance companies does. It's not as simple as that. He is a defendant, and she has not won her case, so I think they've been a bit premature. Rainbow
yeah,
Pickle.
that's what I was
Okay.
thinking when it
Hi.
first happened.
Yeah. Hi, Rainbow Pickle. Lovely to see you.
And they have the filing against is it in Texas against the website that hosted the lawsuit.org with the,
I know.
Oh, yeah.
I think is they're trying to get the information backwards. I think they're trying to like get everything that was posted on that website through the website or for some reason.
But that is, again, Brian Friedman said we're doing a website. All he has filed on there is publicly available documents. I really don't understand why is the court system being used for that? Again, it goes back to more discovery for things that have nothing to do with the causes of action here. I do not understand.
I'm sure that I'm not sure, but I think maybe, because they were tracking Abel's phone all the way up until January of this year. So remember, they could monitor her interactions even with her legal. And, I'm sorry, I'm hearing some background noise. I think it's
sorry, that's me.
Sorry, I get so distracted. Okay, so no, but I think like they're using everything they got from Abel as like a guide to try to figure out, like they're trying to get things, but that they have no basis for. So like maybe like there was a conversation with Friedman saying, let's post everything online. And so I don't know. I don't really know. There's nothing there in my opinion. So I just don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. It's really, really strange. And then on top of all that, so we had Kevin Fritz. And he filed what I thought was an excellent letter, actually. Again, I'm not kind of up to speed. Like, I don't know what is being unsealed because I'm not sure what is it that bit from the transcript.
Yeah, just that one part. They're putting the 2 pages or something, and like just that part was unredacted, but that was it.
Okay, so that one part's being unredacted. Okay, so I look forward to that. I mean, I've had a lot of people say to me, what do I think of the judge striking the transcript? And it wasn't entirely unexpected. I said earlier, I think it was a lot to put the entire transcript to make that one point. I think they knew that a little bit too, but yeah, so I mean, the judge had a bit of a tantrum today. I think it's fair to say. He's not happy with Perez. He's not happy with Fritz. He's not happy with anyone. I think there was some shade thrown towards Lively as well.
That's what I thought at first, but I think I don't know. I think for some reason I gave him a little bit of credit in that first filing when he was like telling everyone to behave. And then because then the next one with the order to strike the transcript, he just like went insane. I thought like he just went crazy on Wayfarer. And I was like, okay, never mind. I'm sorry I ever gave you the benefit of the doubt that you would do anything logical or reasonable.
Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to read him and her lawyers. Some people say that, oh, her lawyers hate her and so does the judge. I'm like, I'm not seeing it.
No, I did find the footnotes, the use of footnotes at the moment from both Lively's attorneys and from the judge to kind of throw snarky comments in, which are not in the
Yeah.
main body text. What is that? I don't understand what that's about. They're supposed to be, to add a bit of context, add links or citations and things like that. But, I wasn't, someone said to me, what did I feel about the judge striking the document? And I was like, I don't mind the striking of the document. I half expected it. I do have an issue, though, with him accusing, in a footnote, Wayfarer of abusing the docket to litigate in the media.
It wasn't just
When
in the footnote. He
Lively's been
said it
doing
2
that.
other times.
Yeah, exactly. But Lively has been throwing. I mean, she served 3 subpoenas through the media.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know she went to TMZ to tell them about the subpoenas instead
Yeah.
of
How is that
the
proper?
people who were being subpoenaed? Like, who really here is litigating in the press?
And if the judge hadn't cut Kevin Fritz off when he tried to warn him about the Google subpoenas, like maybe the judge would have had a little bit of warning about what was about to come on the docket. Like, I don't think he expected this like warfare on the docket of all these people being like, yo, like this girl's crazy. She's subpoenaing everyone. And we all want sanctions. We all want protective orders. And, I just wonder when he's actually ever going to address any of those.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just looking at filing to see if there's any.
If anything new has popped
I
up,
don't know.
like it always happens when we're on.
Leon, the line that was unredacted just said that it says Lively admitted that the only ongoing smear campaign about which she had personal knowledge involves, this was the unredacted part, a retaliatory lawsuit and the press that you, Friedman, have done and the statements that you have made about me and my character.
You see, right? She
But in the
keeps
other
accusing.
letter, oh, go
Is
ahead.
it a smear campaign if no one's lying?
But in the other letter, where the Wayfair, or not Wayfair, but Blake Lively's people are replying, it says there's another part to it that supposedly she said that, but then she also said and she can't disclose anything that her attorneys have told her.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like,
Which is like, that doesn't make no sense, because eventually, I think I was telling DFJ, eventually all the stuff has to come out in discovery. Like, you can't have evidence that they don't have when you're going to trial. Little girl attorney made a whole video about that. So I don't understand why she's like, I can't tell you. I get it, it's attorney-client, but I don't know. I just thought that was a little sus.
But I mean, I tell you the other thing that really bothers me, and I've been saying this all the way through, right? When I do the Jed Wallace filings, and she's given it, section 47.1, like she's literally trying to apply section 47.1 to Jed Wallace, who was not even on board until, was it 14, 15, 16 months after the alleged sexual harassment. He was nowhere near it. And she admits, no, he didn't do anything like that. But it's like, woman, why are you trying to then accuse this man of coming out to just retaliate against you? I don't understand the motive. And now what she's saying of Friedman's firm. But and then when Fritz did his filing, with the transcript, she then accused Fritz's firm of retaliating. It's like all these people who are not Wayfarer were nowhere near the movie set or the production or the marketing. And all these people now have suddenly got motives to go out of their way to smear her husband. And I don't even know why he's still in this 2 months later. And, it's like, what are all these people who have no connection to you, no real connection to Wayfarer, other than a business one? What's their motivation to be smearing you? I don't get that.
Well, and Jed Wallace is the one that said, we don't need to do anything because, like, she's doing this to herself. Like, just let her do her own thing. And he was getting paid $30,000 a month. And this is my ongoing joke about it. I think it's so funny because he just got to sit on the beach having cocktails, getting paid and just watching her this be a dumpster fire and pouring gasoline on it like nonstop with everything she does. They didn't have to do anything.
But he's right, though. Like, I mean, she's doing it now. No one has to be smearing her now. She's doing that all by herself.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
She's taking it
so-
international.
Yeah, if you're going to serve, over 100 subpoenas to content creators who they're just literally talking about a public case involving public people, then you're going to expect to be, dragged for it a little bit. You're going to get the snark. You're going to get some home truths as well about why we all don't like you, why we didn't like the marketing, why we don't like your weasel-faced husband.
And she's a public figure. What does she expect? She really expects everyone to be fawning all over her all the time.
When are we going to get a ruling on her second amended complaint trying to get Judd Wallace jurisdiction in New York?
Oh, I don't know.
Well,
Has
that
he
filing
filed
was a
motion
disaster.
to dismiss?
Oh, yeah.
Hold on, what are we talking about? Texas or New York? Because
New York.
I tell you what, that Texas judge, right? He's done absolutely nothing. Like, there's been how many motions to dismiss? They keep amending their complaints before he's even ruled on them. But like, do you know what I mean? That docket is so boring because they're not fighting over discovery because they're doing all of that over here, and there's no rulings or orders other than extensions of time. Like, I really want to see some action on that. Like,
I know.
I want him to settle the jurisdiction issue for a start. Like, because if that's being transferred to New York, then
I don't think she's going to win the jurisdiction. I mean, that filing was so bad, so desperate. They had to post an Instagram photo of like Steve Sorewitz wearing a shirt with the mantra like to be good or whatever. And that was like, I mean, it took up like half a page. I'm like, you have nothing. You have literally nothing.
And Ludwig's right. When are we gonna? We've got the Stephanie Jones motions to dismiss. Like, when are they coming?
They just got another extension for time.
And weasel-faced husband just hits differently in a British accent. Thank you.
Everything Leanne says sounds so much better in a British accent.
I like it when she says bollocks.
Oh, bollocks.
Bollocks.
Yeah,
that's my favorite. No, I have to hop off really quick because I was supposed to hop off an hour ago, and I just realized like I missed my time. I have to go pick up some keys, and so I'm hoping that they're still there. But I appreciate you guys, and I love you guys, and I'll catch the rest on Replay Crew. Thank you so much, Leanne, for having me on. Like, I really appreciate it so much. It's always
so will we. Love you to pieces.
All right, love y'all.
Bye, CJ.
Bye.
And Millennial Mom is New Jersey.
Oh yeah, thanks for the mod. Okay, love y'all.
Bye.
Bye. It's a New Jersey / New York City accent. I apologize.
So yeah, no. I'm waiting for. Yeah, I want to see some stuff. I want to see some stuff going on with Stephanie Jones, because that one's gone a bit quiet as well. Like, I forgot about her entirely for a bit. But I would like to see some action happening on Judd Wallace in Texas. I don't think she's going to get him back in New York based on the second amended, because if the best she's got is, well, look, I put an Instagram post once wearing jeans talking about how I'm a New York lady. Well, Judge Wallace is not a New York lady. Do you know what I mean? I don't
and also
think that
online doesn't establish like that it was targeted at where she was living.
Yeah.
Just because she posts something online, that doesn't make sense. None of the arguments really made sense.
I thought that argument was awful, but then the next one literally was, well, here's me, thanking this news studio. Was it news studio or an interview, like a breakfast morning chat show thing? I'm thanking them for appearing on their show. They're based in New York. Like, really, are we going down that tunnel now of, she once did an interview on a New York-based interview show?
Yeah, I mean, on X, I put like a picture. It was like, instead of where's Waldo, I said, where's jurisdiction? Because that's what it felt like reading her second amendment complaint. I'm like, where did you establish jurisdiction? Because I haven't seen it anywhere.
No, and to be honest, right, with the first amended complaint, she had a really good crack at trying to pin him into New York. she also got, like, they both got an extra opportunity to reply as well. The judge gave them, more basically, and said, right, file a letter to say why he should stay in, and he could file a letter to say why, New York doesn't apply to him, and she still couldn't get him in. So, and there is nothing in this new filing. The fact that Steve Sorewitz bought a $20 T-shirt off Amazon, it means nothing to me.
Yeah, and then
Like,
and
when
the
is
judges,
a T-shirt with a message of positivity now, an exhibit?
yes, and then remember the judges, when he would dismissed it without prejudice, he basically gave her a roadmap for how to refile to establish jurisdiction, and she couldn't even do that.
No, it is one of the worst filings I've seen so far.
Yeah, that one was bad.
It really is. Like, it was PR. That was. It was all like, oh, look at me, look at my Instagram posts. Look at my expensive jeans, but this billionaire buys his shit off Amazon. Is
And
what
by
I
the way,
took from that.
that quote that she keeps saying, where they say that Steve Sorewitz said he had spent $100 million to whatever defend his clients or destroy her, whatever they said it was. They've never said where that quote actually came from. Because if you look back when she initially put it in one of her filings, she said the source. We're keeping them confidential, and they'll come out if they need to. But she's never said where that actually came from. So to me, I don't believe it actually came from Sorowitz. Like, some random person said they heard it and told her, but I do not believe that, because then, like, Forbes ran with that, and they cited her filing of it, and then the filing cites Forbes, and every time she would file after that something and wants to mention the same statement, then she now, like, uses Forbes as an exhibit that the statement is somehow legitimate, and we've never actually established that it's legitimate.
Yeah, and
Yeah, so there's no proof of that anywhere.
No, I looked at that Forbes filing as well, and Friedman doesn't, because she represents that as Friedman said. Lawyers for Sarah said that he is prepared to spend whatever it takes to defend. I don't think that was coming from Friedman. I saw that in the Jed Wallace.
They're saying it's coming from Sorowitz.
No, I saw that specifically because I was like, oh, thank God someone's addressed us. Charles Babcock addressed it in opposition to Lively's motion to dismiss from Texas. He made a point of saying, well, Lively keeps saying this, but in reality, what that means is Steve Sorowitz is prepared to spend whatever it takes to defend him, Justin Baldoni, and his studios from her.
Yeah, so I think that's
wasn't
what
Friedman.
It was. That wasn't Friedman?
That wasn't Friedman. Unless Friedman has said it separately, which I can't find any statement that he has said that, by the way.
Yeah, and someone said they heard it, like, him say it on the carpet or something, but the whole thing, like, because when she put that picture of him in the T-shirt, like, she was just saying, oh, now Steve Sorowitz said, like, he's willing to spend $100 million to destroy me, but he wears this shirt saying, like, a mantra of his religion, so he's a hypocrite. I mean, that was her argument, and I was like, what first of all, that's not a crime, or like anything that you can take legal action on. But second of all, like, your own argument doesn't make sense, and stop bringing that quote up, because they did it intentionally, and then it was in Forbes, and then there was the arson and the threatening against Sorowitz's family.
Yeah, and she does that too. If it's not doxing, it's kind of threatening or inciting violence.
Yeah, I really just think she's literally just trying to throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. I mean, I don't even know what she's talking about half the time. Like, what? Like, are we upset? Are we doing a smear campaign? Are we doing sexual harassment? I mean, it's just every day there's something new, and it just gets me angrier and angrier.
Yeah, it is, and like I say, I think now we've come full circle. When she's not even really focusing on the claims that she started with, we're now moved. There seems to be different claims, that she's now doing discovery on, but they're not part of this actual court case. So it's really badly managed by everyone, by the lawyers, her lawyers, by Wayfarer's lawyers, if I'm being completely honest, because they should be shutting this down and putting it in filings that
Yeah.
she's abusing this. The only people who are kind of going and saying, hold on a minute, what are you doing here, has been us content creators.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
but that's why I think that's part of the reason why I think, she's writing letters then to the judge going, oh, don't worry about it, you don't need to look at that because I'm withdrawing it, is because if the judge reads that, he's going to realize, actually, hold on a minute, why is she doing discovery, on these people who, for things that are beyond the time.
This is really funny. Kenny said, I made a post on Twix, that's what she calls Twitter, an X. She said that Lively needs to subpoena the YouTube algorithm. That is where the smear campaign is happening.
Self-induced.
Yeah. But it has been, though. A lot of this has been self-induced.
No, yeah, this is all her fault. She started this because she couldn't she did get her way. If she had just, my theory is, if she had just played nice, even if she's this demonic bee, if you just shut up and played nice, that you would have been able to be a co-director on the second one with the second book, because we all see how Justin is. I don't think he would have said no, because he obviously gave her the movie so that it, to lessen the stress. I wish that he would have shut this down during the movie.
Yeah.
Like that he would have been like, no, that's not happening, and fired her. But I think she had gotten to him too much. It was like, the point of no return. And, I think he realized that, which is why he's like, all right, just let her go and do her thing. She would have been exactly what she wanted. She would have been, the co-director on a film. Like if she had just waited and been halfway nice.
There would have been a second movie as well to come out.
Yeah.
So a lot's been lost over this. Naya Palace, I hope I say that right, I'm sorry. I wonder if Wayfarer is scared to do this. I'm guessing because that comment come up then, as I was saying, that Wayfarer need to
Shut it down.
Raise it with the judge. I'm not sure that they're scared. They're seasoned lawyers, and there's really, I think that if I had to guess, I would say it's probably because I think it's pointless. Judge isn't going to listen, isn't going to do anything. And I don't entirely blame them if that's the case.
Look, I have to imagine they did very well in the deposition because, those like three, it was like a trifecta of insanity of filings that dropped, shortly after the deposition, where it was like the sanctions, motion to strike, whatever else it was. And to me, that was just like, it was targeted at him. And and to me, that's like a giant red flag. They're like, yeah, okay, we're drowning here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's now becoming a bit of a shit show, though. Like it was already falling apart when Wayfarer brought out their own evidence and the receipts to kind of disprove her claim. Now I don't even know what is going on anymore. Like I'm lost on this a little bit. I'm not even sure what's going to end up going to trial at this rate.
I don't know. They're going to have some like random like subpoenaed content creators of like AI accounts or like defunct accounts to be like, look, this person was probably paid by Friedman, which also to me makes no sense. I don't think that like Wayfarer would hire Friedman to run this smear campaign, then hire him to defend them against this smear campaign. That would like take away the whole untraceable part. Nothing makes any sense.
There is history. So Friedman and Jed Wallace, they are acquaintances from years back. We're not sure the full information of everything, but they certainly have a previous relationship, and I would imagine that from what I understand, so did Melissa Nathan and Jed Wallace. Have maybe worked together on a couple of things, But you know, in the Hollywood circle, you got a Hollywood lawyer, you got Hollywood crisis PR representatives, social media kind of gurus. So it makes sense that they would have crossed paths. That does not mean that they're all motivated now to. It makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
So even with those connections, I still don't see the motivation at all. And if the motive is missing, then I think she's going to struggle. And she's going to struggle with the retaliation, even if she can prove sexual harassment. And I'm giving her a very big benefit of the doubt here, right? But let's just play devil's advocate. So she successfully proves that Wayfarer did sexually harass her, right? The
So you're
problem
saying the
is,
jury
right?
is blind and deaf.
Well, the problem is, right, is she's alleging the sexual harassment in May 2023, but then she's saying that the smear campaign didn't happen until August 2024, after which, at the end of a period of the second half of filming, which by her own words went very well. So the proximity, right? And I understand that the writer says, you know, they cannot retaliate, you know, during the marketing, but there was so much time left because so much time elapsed because of the shutdown. The proximity, I mean, I would argue that November was stretching it, you know, when she signed that 17-point list, when she got them to sign it, I would argue that might have been, you know, the proximity is getting away from the actual original sexual harassment that they're not supposed to retaliate against, right? But if November is not too far away, the following August really is for me.
Yeah.
Like that would not hold up here at all.
I see what you're saying. It's so disconnect. How can you say it's even connected?
Yeah. And it's not as simple as, you know, like anything they do going forward, although her 17-point rider does suggest that going forward they cannot do anything. They can't pull a funny face, they can't be sarcastic, they can't do anything whatsoever that most normal human beings do without it being retaliation or, you know, like in a negative way. She, you know, she is space. I just think that it is too far, and she cannot say that everything they do forevermore is now going to be retaliation, even though she's given it a really good try. It cannot be the case that she can point to every single thing they do, or their business associates do, or their lawyers do, and say, I don't like it, so I'm going to call it retaliation. But that is exactly what she's doing.
Yeah, but then you have
we're now near 2 years. Like it was 2 years today, was it? That he was in the basement, or 2 years the other day?
Today or yesterday, yeah.
Perez calls her the basement manager.
But we are 2 years on from the premiere now, and she's still saying, well, stuff that was said yesterday, today. You know, she's still literally filing saying the smear campaign is ongoing. No lawyer is smearing a plaintiff who's claiming sexual harassment literally in front of the judge's nose.
Yeah,
No
during
lawyer.
litigation for the claim. It makes no sense. It's like, and she thinks that like he's a lawyer. He makes like enough money doing what he's doing. He's not taking like, I just feel like he's not running a side hustle of a smear campaign.
No, it's not worth it. It's not worth his reputation, and it's not worth his license.
No, and he doesn't need to, because like part of the appeal of him is that he actually has connections to some of these bigger media people like Megyn Kelly. So if he wants to go and talk about his case, it's not going to be untraceable. It's going to be right there. You can see it because he wants people to know what he has to say. It's not going to be something else. And yeah, and now what you're having on the docket though is, what was it now? Like maybe like 10 motions to quash, which the judge isn't going to see, but thank goodness that you guys have all filed these follow-up letters for protective orders and sanctions, because in there everyone's saying we organically don't like you. It's organic. Like, it's been said so many times now, and it's on the docket, and it counters everything she's trying to say.
Yeah. I mean, there's also a history of it too. There's
Yeah.
years and years, not just from this movie, yes, but from years ago. Nobody likes her. Her coworkers don't like her. The people grabbing water for people on the set don't like her because she's not nice.
Can I just correct this? Because I'm sorry. Yes, it was last year, not 2 years. I may have been thinking of the actual allegations of sexual harassment. They were over 2 years ago. But yes, the premiere was 1 year ago. Sorry about that. And Perez formerly had. So Perez used to have Friedman as a lawyer. Friedman is no longer representing Perez. He could not represent him anyway in regards to the subpoena. Otherwise, it would be a conflict of interest. So he is actually representing himself per se. And Friedman and his firm are not representing Perez for this. So I just wanted to go through some of that quickly. Yeah, Katie, we are, 2 years was what I meant to be saying, I think, from the alleged harassment, but 1 year from the premiere and the alleged, was it the smear campaign round 1? We're now in round 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love how Candace, just again, how she worded that yesterday. She's like, so you think it's still going on now? You think this is going on now? Like something you, like after you filed this lawsuit?
Yeah,
She's like, why is the judge letting this BS like go on like this?
That's exactly what she thinks. She's like, oh, look, there's more of a smear campaign. Like it keeps going on. I hate her.
Yeah, no, exactly. Friedman hasn't represented Perez for 17 years. That's absolutely true. Oh, I think we've lost Wrathful. I'm going to have to wrap up anyway because it's like 1 o'clock in the morning here.
Well, enjoy your vacation.
I am. Well, we're at sea tomorrow, and then we're in Ibiza the day after.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's been really lovely. I've enjoyed it. I needed it.
Good. I hope we get to see some pictures.
Yeah, I will definitely send some. Oh, well, I'll post some of the various locations I've been in. But yes, thank you so much for joining me, though. I really enjoyed it. It's great to finally do something with you as well. I've been meaning to for ages.
Well, thank you so much. And I love being able to talk out this case with someone like you because you've been on top of it from the beginning and you've done an incredible job. So thank you so much. And thank you for always trying to answer everyone's questions because I know you always get bombarded with questions and you do an amazing job. So thank you so much. And it was great talking to you about it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I do. I really love doing this case. And I love all the support I have from both the people who watch the content and from the other creators as well, most of them. So I'm really thankful. I was worried that when I was not doing content because of the subpoenas and I was like, oh, then I'm going on holiday as well. I can't not do something on this for a whole month. And I was like, I'm going to lose support, but I really haven't. I've been gaining support, and it's been lovely, and meeting so many new people and talking to people. But yeah, I do. I try to answer as much as I can. I always say if I haven't answered your question in the live chat, because I'm not great at looking at the live chat because I get distracted. If there are questions, please do leave a comment. I do actually answer the comments on YouTube, and I also respond to things I'm tagged in as well on X. So don't I make a point of actually responding to every single one, even if it's just with a little like to say I've read your comment. But if there's a question in there, I will respond to it. If I don't have the answer, I will bookmark it and come back to it and respond to it when I've found the answer. So people, I tell you what though, and you might want to join me for this. I think probably on the weekend, maybe on Sunday, if if Lara's around in particular, Lara and Christina and Millennial. I might see if I can do like a questions and answers live stream. Do you fancy joining me?
Oh, that would be fun. Yes, that'd be great.
Oh, she's back. Yeah, we could maybe do that then. Maybe on Sunday. Probably an hour or two earlier than this, so I'm not finishing so late.
Yeah.
But all right, then I'm going to call it a night. So thank you both. Oh, she's gone again.
Thank you.
Thank you for everyone for coming and listening. And thank you very much, DFJ, for joining me. I will drop you a message and sort of suggest a time and try and hash out something with you.
Sounds good.
Brilliant. Okay, it might be something CJ wants to join. Depends what she's doing with stuff that's going on, I guess. But
Yeah.
okie dokie. See you all, everyone. Thank
Good night,
you.
everyone.
Good night.